Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Brad Bailey, Research Director with Celent Capital Markets Division, and we have Magnus Haglind, Senior Vice President and Head of Product Management with Nasdaq Market Technology. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to the show. And today, Celent launched its Market Infrastructure CIO survey commissioned by Nasdaq. Brad, can you start by walking us through some of the high-level takeaways from the survey?
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Absolutely. Look, the market infrastructure is a very diverse group, but what we found uniformly was a real focus, a new focus on agility, product creation, and customer focus. There's really a fundamental rethinking of technology strategy, how they partner, what they build, what they buy. And I think one of the overarching themes is the right platform allows these firms, this market infrastructure, to really serve their internal stakeholders as well as their external clients more effectively.
And Magnus, if you'd like to follow up.
Okay, and what I would like to add to that is, overall the industry have gone through a number of waves of change during the last 20 years. Technology has been front and center during the last 3 to 4 years, and it's interesting to see now how CIOs globally are thinking about how to modernize their infrastructure during the coming years.
Brad, in the survey, you discussed the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the capital markets. How has the pandemic influenced market infrastructure operators in their technology investments? Magnus, I'll have you follow up on this as well.
Yeah, I think COVID-19 was a stress test on the system. It exposed many of the challenges they have with data, with scaling, operational challenges, and it was the case for over 60% of market infrastructure CIOs. But these massive volumes and these changes really showed a rethinking of how they can think about their platform and how they can incorporate more modern technology. I think it accelerates some of the modernization trends that Magnus just mentioned, and that's absolutely what we find from the data.
And I think working from home and working remote have also imposed challenges to get access to data centers, etc. So just the fact that we've seen a broad change in perception around the adoption of SaaS is also interesting to note in this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Bert.
No, I was just say it really did. You saw from the VPN, from connectivity, a real rethink of data centers and managed connectivity and SaaS, absolutely.
And cloud technology is another area the survey touches upon. How do you and the responders predict the evolution of cloud deployment in the capital markets?
But this is really something to see. The cloud is becoming such an important part. It's moving from core corporate functions into the business itself, into trading, into the risk, to clearing. And I really think that everyone is rethinking how they think about their technology consumption and delivery. And one of the data points that we found was we're going to see a 27% increase to the number of cloud-ready applications that market infrastructure have. This will be over 50% of their applications by 2025. So really on a digital journey with the cloud today.
Magnus, how is Nasdaq as a technology vendor and exchange operator reacting to these figures?
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. We were born using technology, and so for us, it's been important to kind of capture innovation through technology. But it's interesting to note now with that we started to try out cloud almost 10 years ago, and we evolved our use cases when sort of say mature technology and cloud technology matured as well. So we started with data storage and then followed data processing, etc. And it's interesting to see now how also the rest of the industry is following that route. And we are certainly convinced that we will move more advanced workloads to cloud, and in the end then also see how the whole market infrastructure and trading and price discovery and execution will move to cloud. But this is an evolution, and change will not happen from one day to another. So it's important for us as a technology partner to more than 100 clients globally that we provide them with an option to run hybrid. So basically move workload by workload from an on-prem to cloud and choose the pace of change. And I think the term hybrid will be key in order to be successful during the next 5 years.
Brad, the report mentions that emerging technologies such as advanced data analytics and machine learning will offer new potential to fundamentally shift business models for market infrastructure operators. What's your prediction in how MIs will approach these technologies in the upcoming years, and what will it take for wide adoption?
Absolutely, thank you. I think one CIO I interviewed said it best, we're sitting on a treasure trove of data. It's just figuring out how to best get that and access it for internal and external stakeholders. But the first order, what we found is 66% of CIOs surveyed are struggling with their data management. So in order to get to the future where we're using machine learning to bring operational efficiencies for automation, you really have to first start, how do we access the data we have? How do we better leverage it? How do we do the munching and the productizing? And I think this ability is going to be a key as they move on this journey to better serve clients with more insights, not to waste one byte of their data so they can create new products and new visions and really make what they do safer, faster, and better.
Finally, were there any surprising findings in the survey?
So I'll start. One of the biggest surprises for me was, despite the diversity, and we're talking, roughly a third from APAC, from EMEA, from the Americas, and from different types of countries dealing with trading and clearing, settlement, all the different risks, the speed of transactions, the dollar amounts that they're clearing, they all came down to everyone was really thinking like, this is like an overnight thing that just happened. In the next 5 years, how they change your technology state, how they rethink what they're doing will unify what they all said in terms of getting more agile, creating better products, and becoming more customer focused. So I think that was surprising that you really, despite the diversity of types of folks we talked to, these major themes came through.
And Magnus, we'll give you the last word.
Yeah, no, I would say the how ambitious they think they're going to be during the next 5 years, I think, surprised me a lot. And at the same time, they certainly see a challenge around talent acquisition. So I think that will be the big trade-off for them, how much they can achieve, and at the same time modernize and change their talent pool in order to go on this transformation journey.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.